Dodger Stadium is revered as one of the cathedrals of baseball. History thrives at Chavez Ravine as some of baseball's greatest moments have played out in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains. Jackie Robinson scorched the base paths. Sandy Koufax dominated hitters. This place has seen it all. Tonight, a tradition-rich franchise steps out of the Dodger turf for only the second series in their 109-year history. The Tigers know a little bit about history, but tonight there's a special feeling in the air. Two classic teams match up in a classic ballpark, and it starts now on Fox Sports Detroit. For the next 3 days, some of baseball's top young talent will be on display at Dodger Stadium. The Tigers have gotten a big lift from their young call-ups. The Dodgers, well, their future is bright as well. Tonight, interleague play returns as we welcome you to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Game 1 of the series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And as we check out the Tigers in interleague play since 2006, awfully good. They've won about 72% of their games, hitting about .294 and averaging almost 6 runs per game. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Southern California. Mario and Pepper, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us as we crack open opening or interleague play, I should say, tonight. And Rob, this has certainly become the Tigers' time of year. This is a team since '06 that has really done well against the National League.
Well, they got a great manager in Jim Leyland, and of course, Jim Leyland got his start in the National League, so he knows all the nuances of maneuvering through a baseball game, whether it's pitch counts or whether you're taking a pitcher out for a pinch hitter and whatnot. So they've done very nice work.
All right, now how about this Los Angeles Dodgers team? The first time, obviously, we will see them this year in this 3-game series. They have won 10 of their last 11, and I think if you can pinpoint one thing, you've got to look at the pitching.
No question about that, but they are also led by an outstanding manager in Joe Torre, who's done a lot of positive things in baseball and has the uncanny ability to relate to the young players, which he needs to do in Los Angeles. But their season is a lot like the Tigers' season. They didn't get good starting pitching early, but they've gotten it lately, and because they've gotten that great starting pitching, they've run off a 10-1 record, and they've really gotten it done. We'll see Billingsley here tonight with a power fastball, outstanding breaking ball, and then they've got Broxton at the back end. He's a big fella. I mean, a real big fella. He's got a big arm. He throws awfully hard. So these two teams are similar in that same fashion.
All right, that's the story from here at Dodger Stadium. As we check out more of our coverage tonight, let's go back to the Call Sam Studios, and here's John Keating.
All right, guys, thanks. Welcome home to Mario and Rod, former Angels announcer, and Rod, the pride of Santa Monica. Back out to you guys in just a second. We'll put on a pot of coffee, maybe a little bit of latte, and stay up late with you on this Friday night. We'll be here to update you on all the interleague play going on around baseball tonight. But coming up next, interleague play is underway way out there on the West Coast. Tigers and Dodgers in a moment, right here on this Friday on Fox Sports Detroit.
Back here at Dodger Stadium as we get you ready for baseball here tonight. The Tigers and the Los Angeles Dodgers in Game 1 of this 3-game weekend interleague series. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen back here at the ballpark. And the pass list, well, very, very long. The Tigers have so many players, Rod, from Southern California, and you got to believe that all of them here tonight are excited to be playing in this ballpark.
You know, this is a special time. I had a chance when I was playing for the '84 Tigers to come back to Los Angeles to play in front of family and friends, high school coaches. Everybody that supported you along the way is going to come and watch you, and we have several players on our current roster that are from Southern California with California ties.
Well, you see all the names, Worth and Bosch and Perry and Koch and Laird, all of these guys from California, and so it's very special to be playing here. Now, Phil and Vivian Bosch, the parents of Brennan Bosch, are in attendance here tonight, and Father Phil says Brennan, well, he's not scared.
He's prepared for it. He's really worked hard. So, and to have guys teaching him around him who've been really gracious to him, like you know, Miguel and Maglio and Johnny Damon and guys like that. I mean, that's all contributed to how well he's done.
Congratulations to Brennan Bosch's parents, because Mario, you know, the parents are a huge deal, and they play a major role in whatever you're going to do as far as getting you to practices when you're very, very young. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to Brennan Bosch.
A long road, I'm sure, and they're happy to be here. We're happy to be here tonight as we get you ready for baseball. The young guys, they've been very good, but don't forget about the veterans in the middle. Guys like Maglio Ordonez, Miguel Cabrera. The 3 and 4 hitters have been outstanding for the Tigers. Stay with us. Game 1, Tigers-Dodgers next. Back here at beautiful Dodger Stadium, we're in Los Angeles, California tonight, getting you ready for baseball here this evening. If Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Tiger starting lineup is presented by Big Boy. It features Austin Jackson at the top, Santiago batting second and playing short, followed by Maglio in right. Cabrera is at first base. Brennan Bosch with big-time numbers for a rookie. Brandon Inch at third. The bottom 3 is Avila, Worth, and Dontrell Willis, the pitcher, hitting tonight. Well, the Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Chad Billingsley of the Dodgers. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Billingsley won 12 games for the Dodgers last year, and he's also off to a pretty nice start this year for his ball club. But by far, this is the best lineup that he has seen. American League lineups are a lot better than the National League lineups, and he's a power pitcher. Fastball anywhere from 92 to 94, but he's got a big power curveball, and if you look at his body, he's got big, huge legs, and that's where he gets the majority of his power from, those big legs.
So Billingsley climbs on top of the hill. We are ready for baseball tonight on a picture-perfect evening here in Southern California. Tigers and Dodgers hooking up for the first time since 2005. And the first pitch of the ball game is outside to Austin Jackson. Jackson, then Santiago, and then Ordonez, the top 3 for Detroit. Austin batting .329. Still second in the American League in hits, and he fouls one back out of play.
Austin Jackson has done a lot of damage on the road this year. He has hit safely in 20 of 21 games away from Comerica Park, and you know the rest of the story with the very talented rookie.
It's been amazing. The month of April was outstanding. He has slowed down a little bit in the month of May, but perked up in that series against Oakland, and Billingsley not afraid to straighten him up. 2-1. Jackson has knocked in 11. His only home run this year was hit in Texas. That was a leadoff home run back on April 25th. Fouled straight back. And I think as we continue to watch him play, Rod, I think Tigers coaches have said over and over, and you feel probably the same, that his power will come eventually, and that power could reach about 20-25 a year.
I do believe that. I think what Austin needs to do when he gets himself in hitter-friendly counts, like 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, that's when he should use his ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark, because he has that ability to do so. But I've watched him this year. Sometimes when he gets himself in those hitter-friendly counts, he's trying to get that base hit to right field, trying to get on base, which is what good leadoff hitters do, but he's got power.
Jackson in that series was 3 out of 9 in Oakland. And of course, Lloyd McClendon, well, it's been a joy to work with Austin Jackson this year. Here's the 2-2 offering. Fouled away again.
Lloyd never gets a break, really. When we got on the plane, when we left Oakland yesterday, he was talking to several players that aren't necessarily swinging the bat all that well yet this year. 2:30 batting practice tomorrow. So a lot of guys got here real early today to take some early BP with Lloyd McClendon. It never ends.
Again, the 2-2. Fouled away one more time, so Jackson continues to battle.
And he's given Santiago a real nice look, who was batting second today with the DH taken out of play. I would imagine that Jim's going to utilize these next few days to maybe play Damon one day, rest him the next day, Bosch one day, maybe Ordonez even a day off.
And that's what he said before the game today. He said as much. Damon getting the night off tonight, and there's another foul back out of play. So far it's been an 8-pitch at bat. Tigers coming into play tonight at 24-17. They are tied for first in the American League Central. The Dodgers, courtesy of their pretty good stretch of victories, 10 in their last 11. They are 1 game back in the National League West. And again, Jackson staying alive, and it's about probably at this point that Billingsley's getting a little bit frustrated.
That last pitch was an excellent pitch. Really well located, and that's what good hitters do. They foul off the good pitches and they wait for something a little closer to the strike zone so they can do some damage. And usually when you've seen this many pitches in any at bat, the advantage usually goes to the hitter.
Driven in the air toward left field. On the move is Ramirez, still coming. It's going to drop in. Jackson hustling all the way, will get to second. He's in there with a leadoff double.
Advantage hitter. I don't know why it works that way, but when you see 10, 11 pitches, usually guys get base hits. That ball was flared into the outfield, and Manny, of course, is not the greatest defender, but he ran as hard as he could. He's got a bad toe.
But Jackson, he's running hard all the way. And then once Manny gets to the ball, Jackson is already on his way to second base, and he's standing
Drifting
up.
the air toward left field.
He's smelling double before he left the batter's box.
So Jackson with a 2-base hit starts it off for Detroit. Early scoring opportunity. 11 doubles now for Austin Jackson. Santiago backs out of there. 1 ball and no strikes.
And Tigers, last few games, they've been playing the game the right way. And what I mean by that is get a runner on second base. If you're Santiago, you have to at least get Jackson over to third with 1 out to let the big boys do what they do. Even better if you drive him in, but you have to at least get him to third.
And he'll do just that with a bouncing ball to second base. Green gobbles it up. Santiago advances the runner. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the rest of the defense by the Dodgers. You know, Ramirez, the outstanding Manny Ramirez, is in left. You've got the very talented Kemp in center. Johnson is in right. The Dodgers collectively as a team have committed 1 error in the last 11 games, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the pitching, the defense, and that's how you win games.
Manny Ramirez, all those seasons in the American League with Cleveland and Boston. In Mannytown these days. Or Manny Wood, as it were. Here is Maglio Ordonez, who is hitting .315 and trying to drive in a run here. And the Tigers would like to get off to a nice start here, drive this run in, get a nice little lead for Dontrell Willis, who will take the hill tonight for Detroit.
They're conceding the run anywhere but to the third baseman, Casey Blake, and Austin Jackson scores. Maglio would like a fly ball, but a ground ball is just as good.
Chase something out of the zone there. 93 on the gun from Billingsley, and the count is 1-1.
And it's very important for Maglio to get the job done because Joe Torre is a very good manager and a very smart manager. I doubt very seriously if Maglio does not score Jackson if they let Cabrera swing the bat. First inning or not.
Missed it inside. Catcher Ellis held it there a moment. 2 balls, 1 strike. Billingsley is out of Defiance, Ohio, not far from where Jim Leland grew up. He goes 6'1", 240 pounds, 25 years of age. The 2-1 pitch in the air to right field. This will be deep enough to score the run. Reed Johnson gets back there. Jackson will tag and score and give Ordonez an RBI. So Santiago moves him up and Ordonez drives him in.
That's how you manufacture a run. No doubt about that. Speaking of Jim Leland, I saw him about 10 o'clock this morning and he had his briefcase and I said, Jim, you going to the ballpark? And he said no, he was going to speak to some Los Angeles area businessmen this morning. And I heard he was outstanding.
He always is.
John Young, who is part of the RBI program and one of the guys that started the RBI program here in Los Angeles. Every time there's a visiting manager comes to town, he solicits that manager to come out and speak to the businessmen. And really what they talk about is, my job's no different than your job. I still have to motivate people and you have to motivate people. So that's kind of the gist of what he does.
Miguel Cabrera, the batter.
But there's not many better speakers than Jim Leland.
No, and when he gets on a roll, he's really, really good. 1 ball and 1 strike on Cabrera. 2 out of 8 in that series against the Athletics. And a strike called on the inside part of the plate.
I was talking to Don Mattingly before the game, good friend of mine. He's the batting coach for the Dodgers, and Manny Ramirez is hitting, and he could not stop talking about Cabrera. You're talking about one guy going to the Hall of Fame, and he was just in awe of what Cabrera has been able to do this year.
That is popped up right side of the infield. Nick Green is under it, drifting, and he'll haul it in to retire the side. Tigers get an early run for Dontrell Willis back in California, making the start tonight. Tigers have a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first inning in Hollywood tonight. The venerable Hollywood side. Here's the starting lineup for the Dodgers, presented by Honda Bloomfield. Jamie Carroll leads it off. He'll play shortstop tonight. Ronnie Belliard is playing first base. Manny Ramirez in left, followed by Kemp and then Blake. Career numbers really good against the Tigers. Reed Johnson in right. Their bottom 3 is Green, Ellis, and Billingsley. And Dontrell Willis ready to go to work, facing Jamie Carroll here in the bottom of the first.
Joe Torre has an all right-handed lineup he's thrown out there tonight against Dontrell Willis. Those of you that have watched and followed Tigers baseball, you know that Dontrell Willis over his career has been really good against left-handed hitters. therefore Joe Torre is taking the luxury of filling out a lineup full of right-handers.
And here is that first right-handed batter, Carroll, who's batting .290.
He's done some nice work for them. For call, their regular shortstop has not played all that much. As a matter of fact, Carroll has played more games this year than for call, and this is the first time he's played shortstop in the last couple of years.
The 1-1. For call is on the disabled list with a hamstring problem. Of course, Andre Ethier is on the DL as well. They are missing some of their key players. Brad Ausmus is hurt as well. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jamie Carroll, the former Cleveland Indian. He's also played with Colorado and Washington as well.
He's a good baseball player. Not going to wow you with his athleticism or physical tools, but just a really good baseball player.
On the ground at third, bobbled by Inge, and how about that?
Only his second error of the year.
A routine play that Brandon just could not handle, and you don't see that very often, if ever.
Just didn't finish it. Looked like he looked up at the last moment as well.
Well, the Tigers are tagged with their first error of the ball game tonight. Leadoff man is on, only number 2 for Brandon this year. He's going to bring up Ronnie Belliard. Shows bunt, and he takes a strike.
At the end of the year last year, it was Belliard that was playing every day at second base for Joe Torre. Orlando Hudson started the season as their everyday second baseman and made the All-Star team last year. Of course, Hudson now playing for the Minnesota Twins, and it was Belliard down the stretch. From an offensive standpoint, they did a very nice job for the Dodgers.
Well, Belliard is a career .290 hitter. He's always been able to hit, but after he took over down there at second base in 21 games, he hit .351 last season. As you look at Larry Boa, the third base coach of the Dodgers.
They've always been concerned about Belliard's weight. And he's not a tall fella, but he's stocky, big boned, so to speak. Well, that's what my mama used to tell me I was when they called me fat. She said, "No, you just big boned it." But anyway, he had a clause in his contract.
Now wait a minute, before you move on to that.
What?
How do you spell boned?
Boned is B-O-N-D-E-D, I guess. Boned, big boned.
Just joking.
No, maybe D-I-D. But anyway, he had a weight clause in his contract this year that kicked in because he weighed in at a certain number in spring training.
The 1-2 is hit on the ground to second. Could be a double play. Worth with a nice feed. Santiago turns the twin killing.
How about the footwork here? I mean, this is a really nice play. We know that Worth can pick it over there, but he backs up to get the good hop. He backs up on the ball. That gets him the good hop. Now he gives Santiago the feed. Santiago's not there, but look at the footwork by Santiago. Catching and jumping and throwing at the same time.
So Dontrell gets yet another double play turn behind him. He's had a knack for that this year. Here's Manny Ramirez with 2 outs.
That's what pitchers do. You pick up your middle infielders and your infielders when they make mistakes behind you. That air is now in the rearview mirror for Brandon Inge.
Manny with a couple of home runs this year. That error, by the way, for Inge now gives the Tigers a team total of 35, which is the highest total in the American League. Bouncing ball the other way. Worth with a stop on the grass in short right, and he throws him out.
Ooh-wee.
He can play some second base.
Can he, though?
We are figuring that out. Dontrell Willis gets through the first. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here in Southern California, Dodgers Stadium in Los Angeles. Tigers on top of the Dodgers. 1-0 as we go to the top of the second inning. Brennan Bosch, the Southern California native, will lead things off. Then Brandon Inge and Alex Sevilla.
This is a dream come true for Brennan Bosch right now, getting this first pitch from Chad Billingsley in Dodger Stadium where he grew up. First game at 5 years old in this ballpark. He said at that point in time, I knew this is exactly what I wanted to do.
He was hooked. .354 batting average. What a start it has been for Bosch.
It looks like to me, And I'm only saying this because I watched him in Oakland, and they weren't really giving him a lot of good pitches to hit. And the first 2 pitches that he has swung at here were both balls, but he now finds himself in an 0-2 count. The first pitch was a breaking ball. That was a good one, but it was out of the strike zone. The fastball, the second pitch, was also up and out of the strike zone.
That one just missed from Billingsley.
So it looks like Brendan's going to have to start to maybe display a little bit of patience. Not a lot. You don't want to take away his aggressiveness, but you want to make sure you continue to swing at good pitches, though.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. So Bosch strikes out swinging. 1 gone. First strikeout of the game for Chad Billingsley. Bring up Brandon Inge.
Billingsley's got all 4 pitches. He's got a good fastball, anywhere from 90 to 94. He's got an outstanding curveball. He'll sprinkle in some changeups, and he'll also throw a few sliders, but his best pitch is his curveball, and that's what he goes to when he gets in trouble.
Inge has hit safely in his last 3. Shatters his bat. Look out. That's rolled to short, where it's gobbled up by Carroll, and Brandon is out, 2 gone. Well, the barrel of the bat going all the way to third base. 2 outs. That'll bring up Alex Avila. Some signs for Alex in the ball game yesterday. He had a couple of big hits, caught a nice game, and hopefully we'll start to turn things around offensively. And Alex had some interesting things to say on the interview we did with him after the game, saying, look, I know I'm a good hitter. It's just a matter of staying with my plan, staying patient, and sooner or later he'll start to hit.
Yeah, he felt like he had good four good plate appearances yesterday. Hit the ball all around the ballpark. 1 base hit the opposite way, 1 up the middle. Scorched the ball to the outfield where Sweeney, the right fielder, ran it down.
The 1-0.
Here's where Alex needs to do his damage, though. This is where he's kind of gotten himself behind the 8 ball this year. When he gets himself in this particular count, he's been late on the fastball. He knew as much. This is when you catch the fastball out in front. Extra base kind of count right here.
Driven toward left field, going toward the corner. Ramirez is on the run, but that is going to go foul. Nice catch.
That's kind of what I'm talking about here. When you get yourself in a 2-0 count, you don't really want to flare the ball down the left field line if you're a left-handed hitter. You're looking to pull the ball. Now, the ball may have been outside, and if that's the case, you go ahead and take that pitch, because that's not a pitch where you usually do a lot of damage. You don't do a lot of damage where he hit that last ball.
Leland and McClendon hoping that Avila can turn it on, because certainly what we saw when he came up last year was very good, and he waves and misses. 2-2 on Alex. Avila, like many of the other Tigers, also said he was excited about coming to play here at Dodger Stadium. And the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, and Billingsley strikes out a pair in the inning. Tigers go 1-2-3, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Well, the Tigers take a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Here's the scouting report on Dontrell Willis, presented by Ace Hardware.
Well, Dontrell needs to stay out there a while. We watched Bonderman yesterday, and of course Verlander a couple of days ago. They both pitched outstanding games in Oakland. Dontrell needs to stay out there 6-7 innings. Also needs to forget about his last outing, 7 walks against Boston in just over 3 innings, and of course back on familiar ground. Dontrell is from Northern California and got his start with the Florida Marlins in the National League.
First pitch to Matt Kemp is outside. 1 ball and no strikes on Kemp, who is batting in the cleanup slot. 8 home runs this year and 25 driven in. While he's driving in runs, he's also scoring a ton as well. In fact, he leads the major leagues, having scored 35 times this year.
Matt Kemp is the definition of a 5-tool player, and there's not anything that he cannot do on a baseball field, and he also makes it look real easy when doing so.
Inge will pick up this ground ball, and Kemp is out. 1 away.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively, always presented by Beaumont Hospital. Brennan Bosch in left. Jackson is in center. Ordonez with 4 assists this season, which ranks 2nd in the American League. The infield reads Inge, Santiago, Worth, and the big fella Cabrera. And Avila is putting down the signs for D-Train.
And so far so good for Dontrell. He's getting a lot of ground balls, including that double play ball back in the first. Strike one is the call on Casey Blake, who the Tigers saw quite a bit over in the American League when he played with the first Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Indians. And Blake has had really good numbers career against the Tigers. In fact, he's hit 22 lifetime homers against Tigers pitching.
He's a good player. Really good player. Came up in the Minnesota Twins organization. Never really got a chance to play there. But he blossomed in Cleveland. Part of that fire sale as well a couple of years ago when Cleveland was trading away everybody. CC Sabathia that year along with Casey Blake, and Cleveland's continued that fire sale.
And Blake came over in July of 08 after spending 6 seasons with the Indians. 1-2 the count on Casey. He's been hot lately, 8 for his last 17. Two balls, 2 strikes. Dodger Stadium. This is a ballpark that you are oh so familiar with, especially in your youth. The 2-2 pitch is low.
A lot of fond memories. Lots of fond memories.
You were telling me maybe your fondest, I guess, would be when you played, did you play an all-star game here in high school?
High school, California high school all-star team. We played against Northern California. Of course, I lived down here in Southern California, and I led off for our team. I could run back in those days. And it wasn't the first pitch, but ended up hitting as we watch Worth get the second out of the inning on the ground, and Dontrell continues to rack up the ground balls. I hit a ball to left field about 5 inches from going out of the ballpark. So I almost got a chance to trot around the base pass, but I had a double that day. But it was special playing on this field.
330 down that left field line, so you got one in the corner off the gate, huh?
I thought you was going to tell me you should have been getting in the weight room a little bit
No,
more.
I
More push-ups. I know you did.
I really did think about it. All you needed was 5 more feet.
Yes, indeed.
Well, you're right. Dontrell with 2 more ground balls here, so he's looked really good here tonight as he faces Reed Johnson. Willis may have been a little bit out of sorts in his last start when he walked 7. Of course, he had missed the start before that, so he was pitching on quite a few more days rest.
Didn't look good, though. He was looked like he was hyperventilating on the mound. I talked to him the next day, and he said he really hadn't eaten a whole lot, just had no energy, no strength. And he looked like he had no energy or strength.
Johnson is hitting .258. He was signed as a free agent in February by Los Angeles. The 0-2 is tipped foul. By the way, this game tonight is available in crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD. It's sponsored by Comcast. Nice crowd here on hand for game 1 in this interleague series. Interleague play is back, and the Tigers have excelled since 06 tremendously in interleague play. Way high off the glove of Avila. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Johnson.
Almost looked like Avila got crossed up there, but usually when a catcher gets crossed up, he takes a stroll out to the mound to make sure he and the pitcher are on the same page. And really, there's nobody on base. There's no reason to be crossed up.
Back up the middle into center. A rocket into center field for Reed Johnson.
Dontrell upset with himself after allowing Johnson to hit that ball as hard as he did, especially getting ahead of him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's see where the location is. He missed with his location. That ball's right down the middle, so that's why Dontrell was upset.
And the Dodgers have their first hit of the ball game. 2-out single. Nick Green will step in. Green was called up on May 4th from their AAA team in Albuquerque, and he is 0 for 5 so far in the big leagues this year. He's had plenty of big league time, though. Boston last year. Pops this one up. Middle of the infield, the shortstop Santiago is there for the out, and the side retired. No runs, a hit, one left, two in the books. It'll be Worth, Willis, Jackson coming up. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Romani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Chewbacca's in the house tonight. My goodness.
He bounced the first pitch.
Yeah, he did. By the way, it's the Empire Strikes Back night here. They're celebrating the 30th anniversary of Star Wars. And so that's why Chewbacca threw out the first pitch. And, of course, they have to do that over the reading of the billboards, which is not real cool. Anyway, a galaxy far, far away. Unbelievable. Well, here is Danny Worth as we go to the third. It is 1-0 in favor of the Tigers. And the first pitch is lined right to first on one hop. Belliard made a nice play.
Yeah, he's not a first baseman by trade. He doesn't play over there all that often, but he made that look easy.
He's going to bring up Dontrell Willis.
This is probably the only play where there's an advantage for you if you are a first baseman and you have the glove on your left hand to play down the line. Every other play in baseball, it's an advantage for you to have the glove on the other hand, being a guy that throws left-handed. Every other play.
Ooh, Dontrell taking a rip, and he skies one high into right field. Got under it, though, and Reed Johnson makes the play.
Well, Dontrell is a good athlete, and he's a good hitter, too. He was a good hitter when he played for the Florida Marlins in the National League. So batting is not foreign to D-Train, looking to do some damage.
He wasn't waiting around, was he?
Lift and separate.
Dontrell hit .233. Or has hit .233 in his big league career. He has 8 home runs.
That's like a position player hitting about .350.
There's a ball outside to Austin Jackson.
Because most hitters that are pitchers, most pitchers, their batting averages are under 200.
Yeah. Just missed that one.
Jackson had a tremendous at bat to start off the game. Ended up doubling and scoring.
He got the third on a ground out by Santiago, scored on a sac fly by Ordonez. The Tigers getting a run in the top of the first, and it is held up so far. 3 balls, no strikes on Austin Jackson. He's hit safely now in his last 4 as he tries to rebuild a hitting streak. Austin had a 10-gamer earlier this year. 3-1. Line to right center field, sinking, and that will drop. Base hit right in front of Reed Johnson, and 2 for 2 for Jackson.
Hey, fans, celebrate the 40th annual Polish American Night next Friday, May 28th, when the Tigers host the Oakland A's at 7:05. The first 10,000 fans receive a 1935 World Series replica hat. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Ball's is ready for Polish American Night.
It's a good combination right here to run on if you're Jackson. Ellis has not thrown out anybody this year. And Billingsley, a big boy out there, doesn't have a very quick move over to first base. So if you're Jackson with a couple of outs, you may as well try to get yourself down in the scoring position.
Santiago, the batter. Jackson 6 out of 7 in stolen base attempts. He's hit safely in 21 of 22 road games.
He's about as aggressive as any base runner I've seen with a secondary lead off first base. I mean, once the ball's delivered home when he's not running, he takes about 3-4 real good shuffles down toward that next base. And the reason why it's good to do so is if Billingsley happens to bounce one, and because he's aggressively gone toward the next base, it makes it a little easier to just go ahead and start up and keep going again.
Billingsley, by the way, has gone first pitch strike on just 4 of the first 11 batters. The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Santiago. It'll be an 0 for 1 in the scorebook for Santiago with his ground out back in the first inning, but he advanced a runner. Last year, Billingsley was really good at throwing the first pitch strike. There's a strike call. Opponents hit just 184 when Billingsley started them out with an 0-1 count, and that always gets back to what you talk about and the big difference between 1-0 and 0-1.
Yeah, and that kind of validates that point you just made about him, and he's only 4 of what, 12 you said?
11 now.
Yeah.
2-1. Jackson back in, standing up. We're talking to Jim today about Billingsley. We said he was from Defiance, Ohio, which is near Perrysburg, where Leland grew up, and he said his nephews actually faced Billingsley in high school.
Really?
Yeah, and they reported that it wasn't much fun. There's a strike on the outer edge. As you might expect, Billingsley was dominant in high school. 2-2 on Santiago.
Well, it looks like Joe Torre is handling the running game. Don Mattingly sitting right next to him. They came from New York together a couple of years ago.
Three and 2 on Santiago, so this will give Jackson a head start here with 2 outs.
This was supposed to be Joe Torre's last year as a manager, and Mattingly was supposed to take over for him.
Runner going, and it's outside, ball 4. So a single and a walk after the first 2 are retired. It'll be the first walk of the game for Billingsley. Well, they've got 2 managers in this game that have been around a long time and have won a lot of games.
Yes, they have.
Joe Torre,
2,200 of them in 69, 5th all time in Leland. 1436 with 5 postseason appearances. Of course, both have been managers of the year. They've managed in the World Series, and both of these managers, along with Tony La Russa and Mike Scioscia of the Los Angeles Angels, are on that special committee that Bud Selig has put together, where he's got, in his opinion, some of the brighter minds in the game trying to talk and make the game better.
Now, do you know when that committee convenes? I mean, do they do it a couple times a year?
No, they talk during the season.
Oh,
I think it might be a couple times a month where they get on a conference call, and I guess they just kind of bounce some ideas off one another, maybe things that are happening, and maybe Bud Selig has some pointed questions for the managers that he has on his committee. There's a few general managers on the committee as well.
Ordonez had a sac fly back in the first. He's batting here with 2 on and 2 out. He lines one toward right field, slicing away from Johnson, but he'll get to the corner to make the play. So the Tigers threaten but do not score. 2 of the best in all of baseball. Joe Torre, Jim Leland chatting before the game. Tigers lead the Dodgers 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd here at Dodger Stadium on a gorgeous night for baseball here in Southern California. A lot of Tigers fans checking this one out here tonight. And Dontrell Willis, so far so good, has given up just a single through the first 2 innings. And A.J. Ellis leads it off for the Dodgers. It'll be Ellis, then Billingsley, and then Jamie Carroll. Tigers got their run in the first on a sac fly by Ordonez. Ellis batting .250. There's a strike call. Russell Martin, their starting catcher, enjoying a 15-game hitting streak. He is not playing tonight. Ellis gets the call.
Usually Gerald Laird is the one that catches Dontrell Willis, but tonight it's Avila getting an opportunity to put down the fingers for D-Train. I'm sure he probably has the same game plan. You start right down the middle, and once Dontrell gets ahead, and then you can move to the edges if he's showing that he's got some good control on any given night.
Here's the 1-2. On the ground to the second baseman, Worth, who gobbles that one up and throws out Ellis. One gone. Time for a game break. We go back to the studio. John Keating has news on the Yankees and the Mets.
Mario, it's a game break brought to you by your Chrysler Jeep Superstore. Some feel this whole purpose of interleague play is for the Yankees and Mets. At Citi Field tonight, Kevin Russo's RBI double scored a couple. That's all the Yanks needed as they won it by a 2-1 final. Back to a couple of guys hanging out with Larry King tonight. Mario, Rod.
We are indeed. You know, all the stars come out here, and there's Larry King. It's apparently a little bit chilly tonight.
Yeah, you can't see the suspenders.
Because it's, I don't know, in the 60s.
He got good seat, though.
Yes, he does.
He got a real good seat.
Billingsley, the batter, down to the count 0-1. Ball high. 1 ball and 1 strike on Billingsley. 2 for 13 this year as a hitter. No homers, no RBIs. Had a good rip there and fouls it straight back. One and 2 on Chad Billingsley. And he takes strike 3 on the outside corner as Dontrell carved him up. 2 gone. First strikeout for the D-Train.
Like he backdoored him with a breaking ball. He sure did. Slide piece. Caught the bottom of the strike zone on the outside corner.
Two outs now. Here's Jamie Carroll. Just about everything has been on the ground tonight against Willis. He has had 1 pop-up and now a strikeout. Carroll reaching on an error back in the first. Balled inside 1-0. Jamie was signed last December as a free agent. And he's a guy that is one of those players that has hung around the big leagues because of his ability to play so many different positions. And really almost every position on the field. The only positions that he has not played in the big leagues: pitcher, catcher, first base. That's it. That is versatility.
Yep.
Tapped foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jamie Carroll. You got to be really encouraged by the fact here, Rod, especially after Dontrell walked 7 in his last game, that he continues to get ahead of hitters.
Well, that and the fact, too, that he was a little under the weather when we arrived in Los Angeles last night. And me, myself, I didn't know whether he was going to make the start here today, but he is good to go today. So apparently it was just something very minor.
He is dealing. That's his second strikeout. Willis looking good through 3 as the sun begins to set here in Southern California.
Tinseltown.
Top of the 4th inning here at Dodgers Stadium. Tigers on top of the Dodgers tonight. 1-0 is our score. It's also time for the AT&T trivia question. Who are the last 2 National League teammates to win the batting title and the RBI crown in the same season? Last 2 National League teammates to do it. We've got to go back quite a few decades, we are told. So put your thinking caps on. Hopefully not too many decades, but give that one a shot. It'll be Miguel Cabrera here in the 4th inning. Starting things off, Cabrera, Bosch, and then Inge. Billingsley's first is popped up. Right side, shallow right field. Johnson coming in. And 1 pitch, and Cabrera is out. Well, there is Phil Bosch. Brennan's dad. Mom probably is
Can't watch
somewhere. Yeah.
Can't watch.
It's really hard to do.
Dad got a really nice seat there, doesn't he?
Well, what did you expect?
Them ain't pass seats.
You think they're going to put him out in right field? That swung on and popped up. Left side of the infield. 2 pitches, 2 outs.
What does Dad think? This is nerve-wracking when you got to watch your kids, though. There's no debate about that.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's nerve-wracking. You know, you watch your kids play. It's just, you want them to be so good and you want them to have so much success. It's just hard to watch, especially a game like baseball when it's really a game of failure. I mean, if you're good, you're successful 3 out of 10 times as a hitter, and you're considered pretty good.
That's the key right there. You know, and Bosch has gone out to such a great start that you almost expect him to get 2 or 3 hits a night. And the game is so difficult, but when you're sitting there, I think parents just feel helpless.
Huh? You are.
Yeah, well, you're right.
You really are.
1 ball, 1 strike on Brandon Inge. He bounced out his first time up. Billingsley got 2 outs on 2 pitches. Brandon taking a few here, and he's ahead of the count now. 2 balls, 1 strike. Driven high in the air to left field, hit well. Manny Ramirez going back to the track, to the wall, and he can't get it. It's off the wall. Inge will go to second, and he will pull in there with a double. And the fans are getting on Manny right now.
Yeah, they're booing him. He's not moving real well out there. The ball does not travel real well here at Dodger Stadium. It's a hard place to hit it out of, but Brandon got himself a hanging slider, probably the 3rd best pitch for Broxton, and Manny didn't know where the wall was, and he got over there and could not make the play. Most left fielders in baseball make that play.
So Brandon Inge gets another double. That's his 13th of the year, which trails Cabrera for the team lead. Cabrera has 14. Here is Alex Avila. Ball 1 down low. Brandon Inge safe at second base with a double. Safe and secure. New York life. Avila struck out back in the second. Here's the 1-0. Fouled straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Avila. Billingsley struck out a couple of batters in that second inning. The Tigers got a quick run and then threatened a little bit in the 3rd with 2 men on, 2 men out, but failed to score. Now a 2-out double here in the 4th. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on Avila. Billingsley, 25 years old. I mentioned he's from Defiance, Ohio. Was a 1st-round pick of the Dodgers back in 2003. He was going to go to college at South Carolina, but the Dodgers signed him instead, lured him away from school. The 1-2 is hammered back out of play. Happens to a lot of guys. They sign letters of intent to go to college, and then all of a sudden, if you're a 1st-round pick or a 2nd-round pick, the money's there. And kind of hard to pass that up.
Yeah, it's hard to turn down $1 million. It just is. I mean, you're going to college to get a degree to make some money, and $1 million is a nice head start. And when you're a high-round draft choice, you get every opportunity to make it to the big leagues.
True.
Every opportunity to make it to the big leagues.
Well, there's so much invested in you that that's just the way of the world, I suppose.
And some get to the major leagues and they haven't even earned it because of the investment that has been put upon them.
Is that why it's so hard for guys that are drafted deep into drafts to get to the big leagues? Because there are guys that are probably going to get there just based on contract situations.
Well, you got to fight for playing time. If you're a 20th, 25th man, 25th round draft choice, guess what? You're going to play behind that guy that was drafted in the 6th round, in the 7th round, in the 8th round. And you just got to continue to hit your way or pitch your way into an everyday lineup. And then once you have a good year, you put yourself on the map, regardless of where you were drafted. But initially, you don't get the same opportunities to play as the guys that were drafted ahead of you.
Meanwhile, Billingsley has gone 3-2 on Avila.
Well, this is where he might throw him the breaking ball. He's got a base open. He's got Worth in the on-deck circle. And he knows Avila is sitting on the piece of cheese, which would be the fastball. So his best pitch is his breaking ball. He might throw it right here. He's got confidence in that pitch, too. There it was, and he missed.
Ball 4, and so the Tigers again have a 2-out threat going.
As far as the hitters, you got to think. I mean, you just have to sometimes just think about the situation at hand and what's going on. And if you do pay attention, it does make the game a little bit easier. It's a hard game, but if you pay a lot of attention to what guys are doing and what their best pitches are and different things like that, it helps you.
So now a chance for Danny Worth. Tigers had the same situation here. 2 men on, 2 men out in the third, failed to score, and now Worth will try and cash into the fourth. Ball outside, 1-0 on Danny.
You know, you brought up yesterday that Worth said while he was playing collegiately at Pepperdine, one of their biggest supporters and biggest fans was Pamela Anderson.
That's right.
And I was joking with him getting off the bus yesterday, and I asked him, was he going to leave her a ticket?
Don't tell me.
No.
Oh. I thought you were going to say yes.
I said, you going to put her on the pass list? He's a young kid, too, you know what I mean? He doesn't know me all that well. He just got this big old smile on his face.
Well, apparently she had front row seats at Pepperdine for all the home games. 1-1 on Worth. Certainly made a couple of nice defensive plays tonight. See if he can chip in with the bat. Ball inside. Danny now 4 for 11 in the start of his big league career. Leland was talking about him before the game today. He feels that Worth has a chance to be a utility player in the big leagues, but if he hits, he can be a regular. And that seems to separate the guys that are utility players and the guys that start.
He definitely can play up here defensively. There's no question about that.
Bouncing ball to short should get him out of the inning. They'll flip to second for the force, and the side retired. Tigers strand a couple. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Belliard, Ramirez, Kemp coming up.
Let's take a look at the body of work for Dontrell Willis through the first 3 innings against the Los Angeles Dodgers. He has 2 strikeouts, 6 ground balls. He's got a double play, and he's got a real nice feel for what he's doing, changing speeds on everything that he throws, and so far, so good.
I would second that. No question about it. As we go to the fourth inning, the bottom half, it'll be Belliard, Ramirez, and Kemp. 2, 3, 4 in Joe Torre's lineup, and Dontrell throws a first pitch strike. 0-1 on Belliard. Here's the breakdown. You see all the ground balls. Only 1 hit in the air tonight. Another ground ball. Santiago has this one. Belliard now is 0 for 2. 1 away in the fourth inning. Bring up Manny Ramirez.
When it's all said and done for number 99, he's headed to Cooperstown. And that's how good he's been. Started in Cleveland, went to Boston, helped them win a couple of championships. Last couple of years, he's helped the Dodgers get into the postseason. He will go down as one of the top 2 right-handed hitters of all time. I mean, that's how good he's been.
Here's Inge deep behind the bag, and Ramirez is out. 2 up, 2 down. Another ground ball for Dontrell. How about that AT&T trivia question? Got a chance to think about it. Time's up. Here's the question again. Last 2 teammates to win the batting title and the RBI crown in the same season.
Joe Torre.
No, Carl Furillo and Roy Campanella of the 53 Brooklyn Dodgers. Furillo hit .344 that year. Of course, Roy Campanella 142 RBIs.
I only said that because Joe Torre was a brilliant player when he came up in St. Louis's organization.
Last American leaguers to do it, that 0-1 Seattle team that won 1 billion games. Ichiro and Boone. Here's Matt Kemp with 2 outs. He bounced out back in the second. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Kemp has the ability to hit you 30 home runs and steal you 30 bases. He won a Gold Glove last year, made an All-Star team, hit 26 home runs. He drove in 100 runs. He's one of the brightest stars in all of baseball. And he hangs out with Rihanna, too.
Really?
Yes,
there's a strike.
Yeah.
That's not so hard. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We hang out with Jay-Z and Eminem.
Yeah.
He hangs out with Rihanna.
There's a ball high and away. By the way, Willis was all over me after that Jay-Z Eminem interview.
Why?
He was just killing me.
What did he say?
Oh, you just looked so out of place and so awkward, and you were struggling with that. I'm like, yep.
Didn't he drop that on you?
Tell me something I don't know, Dontrell. He fouled back out of play. Yeah, we were kidding around the next day. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Matt Kemp. We're talking about Kemp leading all of baseball in runs scored, 35.
His general manager, Ned Colletti, went off on him earlier this year. I mean, he literally went off on him in the newspaper. And really what he had to say is after giving Kemp a 2-year contract, he just felt like he wasn't playing as hard as he did the year before, and he felt like some of his off-the-field things were getting in the way of baseball, and plus the team was not playing well, and Colletti kind of took it out on Kemp.
Oh, there's the base hit to left.
He pulled his hands in nicely on that last pitch because he recognized that Dontrell had been pitching him inside aggressively. And he tries to get inside again on him, and he pulled his hands in nicely here. Take a look at the hands here. You could see him already start with the bat knob. We talk about Maglio and those guys starting with the bat knob. The bat knob comes first, and then the bat head follows, and that's how you get to inside pitches. Bat knob leads, bat head follows.
Casey Blake takes a ball high. That is just the 2nd hit allowed by Willis tonight. Both singles. The other belongs to Reed Johnson. And really, the Dodgers haven't had too much to hang their hat on tonight. Just a couple of base runners. They're beating the ball into the ground all night long. Dontrell missing outside.
Dodgers have the luxury right now. And yes, their pitching has started to get itself in order. We talked about that at the top of our show today, how they've won so many games lately. But they're playing in a division right now where the other teams just aren't playing all that well. And I don't think anybody really expects San Diego to be there in the end in the National League West.
Yeah, that seems to be the thought that most have. And right now the Dodgers a game out. So a lot of baseball to be played. Of course, the Tigers came in tied in the Central Division for the lead. That's going to get away from Avila. And Kemp, the tying run, will get to second base.
Looked like Avila was set up inside and the ball kind of went outside. Let's take a peek. What happened is the ball just had a lot of movement to it. It was a good either two-seam fastball or a slider that had a lot of late life to it, and I'm not sure how they're going to roll that.
Wild pitch. Blake takes on 3-0. Casey 0 for 1 with a ground ball. He's got the tying run at second base right now, Matt Kemp. Way outside. That is ball 4, and so put Blake aboard.
Kemp has speed at second base, and it's going to be awfully hard to throw him out. But defensively in the outfield, the Tigers have got 3 guys that can throw. Brendan Bosch has got a plus arm in left field. Jackson can throw as well from center. And Maglio already has 4 assists this year, which ranks him 2nd in the AL.
Rick Knapp has returned to the team, and he's out there having a chat now with Willis. Talking about Maglio and his arm. That may be the one part of his game that I think has really kind of stood out this year. He's been so good defensively.
He worked hard in the offseason. Maglio works out in Miami, where he spends a lot of time in the offseason, and he works out at a place where a lot of the University of Miami football players work out. Leland taking this time to teach a little bit with the youngster Porcello.
So here's Reed Johnson. 2 on and 2 out.
Porcello like a bobblehead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Johnson takes outside 1-0.
Reed Johnson is a really good fastball hitter. He was that when he was wearing a Toronto Blue Jays uniform. He spent some time in Chicago with the Cubbies and now finds himself here in Los Angeles. But a good fastball hitter is Reed Johnson.
Well, he's ahead 1-0. Willis shaking off Avila. Missed it high. 2 balls, no strikes. Nick Green waiting on deck, so Willis right now is heading toward the bottom of this lineup for the Dodgers. Tigers got a run in the first. That has been the only run of the game so far. And another one that missed the strike zone. Now it's 3-0. Dontrell's control has been very good up until this inning here. A walk to Blake, and he has missed the first 3.
Those are arm slot problems. Where those balls are located, he's not getting to that same arm slot that he was at in the first 3 innings. When a left-handed pitcher is leaving balls where Fox Tracks was showing us where those balls were, those first 3 pitches that were up and away, your arm slot is dropping, which means you're not catching up and your arm's not getting up top. Therefore, the fastballs that are outside and up.
Swing and a miss. 3-2.
Is that a changeup?
It looked like it was. It was at 82 miles an hour.
Good pitch with confidence, no less. Then again, Dontrell throws his fastball anywhere from 82 to 88 2. Little BP fastball is what they call him. He's still leaving balls up.
But he's back in the count now. 3-2 on Johnson. And with the runners going, it's fouled off.
He has really got Johnson set up now for anything inside, whether it be a fastball, whether it be a breaking ball, slider preferably. Because every pitch of this at bat has been away from Johnson, and there's no way right now that Johnson's looking for anything inside. So if Dontrell could thread the needle inside, he can get himself a strikeout here looking and get his teammate back in the dugout.
Willis got the first 2 batters on ground balls, and then Kemp singled to left. Blake walked. And it's 3-2 on Johnson. And he pops him up. Behind home plate, Avila coming back with a screen. He's out of room. Johnson's still alive. He's been a good hitter against left-hander pitching this year. .312. Actually really good in his career against left-handed pitching. He's had time in the National League with the Cubs, in the American League with Toronto, and in a big spot here in the 4th early in the game.
Dontrell's gotten a lot of ground balls today, but he hasn't worked in that area where he's worked against Reed.
Head back toward the seats as well and get back out of play. So this has turned into quite a battle here. Dontrell has thrown 23 in this inning, 23 pitches. And he needed just 39 to get through the first 3. And again, this after 2 quick outs here in the 4th inning. 3-2 on Reed Johnson. And he walked him. That is going to load the bases. A single and 2 walks.
Let's take a look at the bell tire pitch by pitch at how Dontrell goes after Johnson, and you can see that the arm slot is starting to drop because the body is drifting forward, and when the body drifts forward, you're not able to get on top of the baseball, and every pitch that he threw to Reed was on the outside part of the plate, finally walking him to load the bases.
And now he's going to have to face Nick Green here. With 2 outs, bases full. Green popped up in his first at bat. Ball one outside.
It's time to make an adjustment now if you're Dontrell. Way too many pitches to the last two hitters in that same exact area. And if you're Avila, you may as well call for a fastball inside. Force Dontrell into throwing the ball inside.
Line down the left field side, but it is foul. Boy, he got a hold of that one and yanked it.
At least it was down. And at least he made him put it in play somewhere. The location's down. Good location, really. It's a nice swing by Green. That's a tough ball to keep fair if you're not leading with the bat knob. If the bat knob's not going first, you're not going to keep that ball fair.
And that ball hit him.
Did it really?
It hit him.
No way.
And that's going to force in a run. Here comes Leland to argue this. Kemp will come in from third base to score. It's a 1-1 game. And you can see the home plate umpire Brian Gorman saying hit him in the foot. It's amazing how quickly this inning is unraveled.
Does it change directions?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to tell from that angle. It's a nice sail job there by Green anyway.
So Green gets an RBI. He's at first base. And here is Ellis. Strike one.
Second consecutive day where the bases were loaded and an opponent got hit to drive in a run. Happened in Oakland yesterday.
Fouled away, and now quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. So Willis ahead after walking 2 batters. There is activity in the Tigers' pen. That is Eddie Bonine.
All this done with 2 outs. Base hit by Kent.
That got it rolling. Here's the 0-2. Brad Thomas has also joined Eddie Bonine. Lefty-righty combination in the Detroit bullpen. Line drive caught by the second baseman Worth. He hit it hard, but right at him. And Willis pitches out of the jam. Minimal damage done. They get a run to tie it up.
There's a lot of pride on the line because we'll rank them. Yeah, we'll rank them, and you know, they're all wanting to be number 1. And right now they're trying to knock Porcello off of his perch because he got 2 hits last year.
Well, that is Rick Knapp talking about the pitchers hitting, and there's a lot of pride between the pitchers, and they all want to be known as the best hitting pitcher. This guy right here, Dontrell Willis, has got to be near the top of the list. He hit a ball to right field his first time up. Career at .233 hitter with 8 lifetime homers. And he takes ball 1 outside. You can tell the guys when they get out there in the cage, the pitchers, they are very competitive.
Oh, no question about that. Verlander does not like to lose at anything.
True.
Anything. And Porcello was a really good high school hitter. He hit 4th for his high school team and hit about 11 home runs and did a nice job. And of course, Dontrell's been hitting since he came to the major leagues.
Off speed, stays high in the count. 2-1 on Dontrell. Porcello in the middle, of course. Verlander.
Bondo pitched a really good game yesterday. Bondo told me he threw 1 split-fingered fastball yesterday, partner.
It's another mile-high fly ball into right field, and that is going to be caught by Johnson. 1 gone.
Hey fans, all you can eat seats at Comerica Park are now on sale. Located on the upper suite level, suites come with an endless supply of hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, soft drinks, and more. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
That surprises me. 1 split finger pitch.
And he threw it to Eric Chavez, and I think we had the pitch that he threw. He had a strikeout against Chavez in that ball game yesterday, and he said, you know what, Rod? I like the pitch. I'm working on the pitch, but there ain't no way I'm going to get beat with that pitch. He was honest.
No, and I agree. And
he said, I had such a good slider yesterday. He had 8 strikeouts yesterday. He had such a good slider yesterday, and his fastball, his two-seam fastball, was moving at the bottom of the strike zone with good velocity. He says, I am not going to get beat with that split-fingered fastball.
Well, it's always been the chicken or the egg. I mean, it's a catch-22. You can't get better without throwing it, yet you don't want to get beat by throwing it. And he didn't need it yesterday, fortunately, because his other stuff was very, very good.
Yep, didn't need it.
1-2 on Austin Jackson. And he takes strike 3. Billingsley has picked up another strikeout. That's his 3rd. 2 gone to the Tiger 5th. The ring of Santiago. Tigers still searching for that consistent pitching behind Verlander, who now apparently has it all figured out. Verlander has been so good in the month of May. But as we go forward, they will need some guys to step up. And maybe the outing that Max Scherzer had in AAA, 10 strikeouts in his first start down there, is a good sign, too.
Must have been a little angry yesterday. Must have been. That's a good sign, though. It's also a good sign what Galarraga did.
True.
Getting his start last Sunday at Comerica Park.
0-2 on Santiago.
But if they get Scherzer straightened out, that greatly helps and increases their chances of playing some meaningful games in the month of October this year, other than the one that they played last year at the end of the year against the Minnesota Twins. Get out, ball.
And it's sinking, but it's caught on a dive by Kemp.
I told you he was a Gold Glove 5-tool player.
A sinking liner to center field, and Matt Kemp runs it down and tumbles onto the turf and holds on. Terrific play by Kemp.
He robbed him.
Interleague play is underway for 2010. A good one so far here tonight. 1-1, the Tigers and Dodgers, as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Dontrelle Willis back to the mound, and he throws a strike to Chad Billingsley. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Jamie Carroll, and then Ronnie Belliard. Bouncing ball hit toward third. Short hop there by Brandon Inge, and Billingsley is out, 1 away. Well, it's time now for the Home Depot doing more on defense. We just saw the play moments ago. Sinking line drive to center field. Matt Kemp rolls, holds on to it, and makes a terrific play.
He's fearless in the outfield because he knows if that ball gets past him, Santiago's standing on third base for sure, possibly rounding the bases, but Matt Kemp, you watch him play the outfield, and he will take away those types of base hits, and he will also go back to the wall and take away would-be doubles and triples.
So Dontrelle, meanwhile, gets another ground ball out. Here's Carroll. He is 0 for 2. Ball 1. Carroll is strikeout, reaching on an error back in the 1st inning. Missed it high, 2-0. The Dodgers without their regular shortstop Furcal, who was on the disabled list with a hamstring problem. And since taking over for Furcal, Carroll has hit over 300. There's a strike on the inside part of the plate. 2-1 on Jamie Carroll. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Dontrelle is, you know, of course, pitched so many years with Florida in the National League, so he's seen the Dodgers quite a bit. He's made 7 career starts against them, and his ERA coming in was 6.93. So the Dodgers had given him fits even in his National League days when Dontrelle was at his best.
Yeah, they weren't very nice to him.
1 in 5, 6.93 ERA, but tonight he's looked good. 3-2 pitch, and he lost it. There's another walk, though. 1 on, 1 out. Well, this game is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving 177 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. We welcome you. Here's Belliard. Ground ball here would come in handy. Downtrell got himself a double play back in the first. And in fact, it was off the bat of Ronnie Belliard. Belliard, you might recall, in his National League days, was the starting second baseman for the Cardinals at the end of '06. And that was the team, of course, that beat the Tigers in the World Series. Playing in the Fall Classic against Detroit with the Cardinals that year. Strike called on Belliard. Carroll, the runner at first base, measuring his lead, and he'll draw another throw. Carroll has swiped a couple of bags this year, hasn't been caught. Inside. Willis so far has had 3 full counts. He's gone to the 3-ball count 5 times in this game, and talk about the fact that he walked a couple of batters in the 4th, which led to a run. Now another walk here in the 5th inning.
If you're going to throw a Belliard a fastball here, 2-1, you better locate it in a good area where he can't do a whole lot of damage. He's got surprising power. Quick snap throw by Downtrell. That ball's a little lower, and Cabrera has farther to take his glove. They might have gotten the pick off there.
Line drive, right field line, fair ball. It's going to go to the corner. This is trouble. Ordelia's digging it out. Here comes Carroll to third. They're going to stop him there. It's a double for Ronnie Belliard. Carroll was coming hard at third base, but Larry Boa held him up.
Well, we knew that Belliard would be trying to do some damage if he got himself a fastball 2-1, and it really didn't have to be a good pitch. His fastball looked like it was up and out of the strike zone. And he whistles the ball down in the corner, and as you mentioned, Carroll going hard, but take a look at Larry Boa, the third base coach, and where he is standing when he decides to stop it. He is way down here, which gives him a clear look out into this area to determine whether he should hold him up or not, or allow him to come home. I love the third base coaches to get down that far because it gives you more time to hold up a guy or send him home.
So Belliard has his 5th double, and here is Manny Ramirez. Second and third, 1 out for the Dodgers. And it gets away from Avila to the backstop. It goes, and a run will score.
D-Train was pitching so well here at the beginning. It's kind of unraveled a little bit for him the last couple of innings with some walks and some wild pitches. But they only trail by 1.
Second wild pitch of the night. That one almost hit Ramirez. So both runners move up. Belliard takes third. Carroll scores. 2-1 Los Angeles, the first lead of the night for the Dodgers.
Manny has been much better this year with runners on base versus hitting with the bases empty. As a matter of fact, the number's about twice as good for Manny.
Got a big rip there.
There was a time, that wasn't that long ago, Mario, where Manny would not be hitting right now. With 1 out, I know Kemp's in the on-deck circle, but it really doesn't matter. And Manny would have been walked, and he'd be standing on first base, and they'd be playing for 2 here. But Kemp, I guess, is the reason why Jim has decided not to walk Manny intentionally here to set up a double play. which is their best chance of getting out of the inning.
Swing and a miss. Well, Leland doesn't really believe that in that old theory of guys protecting each other in the lineup, but this might be a good case of that indeed. And I know Manny's maybe not quite the hitter he was, obviously, in his Cleveland days and Boston days, but you're right, boy, he would never have a chance to hit in this position.
455 with runners on base. On inside.
Almost too far inside. Again, Avila had to go down there to get it.
That fastball, whatever that is, Dontrell's throwing, and when he does go inside, that thing is cutting, and Avila's having a whale of a time trying to catch it.
2-2 on Manny Ramirez, 548 lifetime home runs, which is good for 14th all time. In fact, he's tied with Mike Schmidt.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
That's right. The 2-2. Line drive knocked down by Inge. It'll roll to the outfield grass and get a run in. He hit a bullet to Brandon, who could only get in the way of it.
He didn't get glove on that. That ball hit him right off the foot, man. It hurt too. I mean, he is not rubbing it. He is not touching it, but that ball was absolutely scorched, and it hit him right off the foot. Ugh, did that hurt? Oh my goodness, did that hurt? Brandon's a tough cookie, but boy, did that hurt.
3-1 Los Angeles, an RBI for Manny Ramirez. And for Manny now, that is his 20th RBI. Here is Matt Kemp. Still only one out here in the 5th. Wave and a miss. Kemp had that single that started things with 2 outs in the 4th inning, and that's when things began to unravel a bit. A couple of walks, a hit batter with the bases loaded, and the Dodgers had themselves a run. Now they have taken the lead here with 2 in the 5th inning. Yeah, Kemp tied up in knots there. 0-2. 4 hits now for Los Angeles, 3 for the Tigers. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Worth has it, tags the back one. Here comes the relay. There's a double play. Second of the night for Dontrell, but the Dodgers take the lead. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Kraft. Make today delicious, and by Jaguar. Visit your local Jaguar dealer to experience the 2011 Jaguar XJ. Well, the Santa Monica Pier, where Rod Allen as a young lad used to spend many of his days.
Sure did. Brings back some fun memories.
You skipped some school, tell the truth, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Back in them days, I mean, if you missed school, they didn't call your parents on the same day.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, I mean, you miss school and they're calling the house at second period.
Well, there's a good reason why to skip. That looked like fun. There's a bouncing ball to short. On the charge is Carroll. Awkward looking play, but he throws out Ordonez.
I know you never had that problem of skipping school.
No, I used to go to school when I was sick too. I never wanted to miss a day because I wanted to have that perfect attendance, but I never got it. So,
well,
give it the old college try, though. But of course, I didn't have roller coasters to go to either.
Yeah, that beach. It was right down the street from the high school.
Here's Cabrera. Miguel with a pop-up and a fly ball.
About time for the big fella to get loose. At least hit something hard. And Billingsley's done a pretty nice job on him here tonight.
0-2. Billingsley had really 4 tremendous years in the minors. He was 35-17 last year. He made the All-Star team based on a very strong first half, but was not nearly as good in the second half.
What, 9 games in the first half, only 3 in the second half.
Carroll again, this time on the backhand. 2 gone. And that is 6 in a row retired by Chad Billingsley. Bring up Brennan Bosch, who was 0 for 2 in his return to Southern California. 78 pitches for Billingsley as we play here in the 6th. Big swing by Brennan.
Yeah, he continues to throw that slide piece down and in to Bosch. Most left-handers like the ball down and in. Bosch would be no different, but he has not been able to figure out. Billingsley here today. See, you just can't hit that pitch. I mean, I brought it up the first inning. How word is now getting around, how aggressive Bosch is, and how he really likes to swing the bat. And he's got some length and some range with the bat. But those last 2 breaking balls are pitches that you really just can't do much with. You just can't.
The 0-2. Right back up the middle into center field, and Brennan Bosch has a 2-out single.
Now that one you can do something with, and Mom likes it. That's my baby.
My baby.
He couldn't find Mom on that strikeout, but she's back. Look at the location. It is right down the middle. Look at Dad. He cool now. Dad only reacts when you make outs.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
Brennan said that his dad brought him here when he's 5 years old, and his dad's favorite player was Brett Butler, because his dad liked the way that Brett Butler hustled all the time, and that was the message that he wanted Brennan to get. Brennan liked the power hitters. He liked Sean Green. He liked some of the other guys that moved the baseball around a little bit offensively from a physical standpoint. But his dad liked Butler because he liked Butler. He was small and he was athletic, and he always ran aggressively, and that's the way he wanted his son to play the game.
Well, Bosch's base hit now gives the Tigers 4 hits on the night. Brandon Inge trying to do something about it.
Don't fall asleep with Brennan Bosch on first base. He's got some good speed for a big boy. He is 6'6", but he can run. And we've already told you that Ellis has not thrown out a base runner yet this year. And Broxton doesn't have a quick move, but he does a few things on the mound, like holding the ball, stepping off, which disrupts your timing as a base runner.
Strike called on Brandon. So it's 1-2 on Inge. Had a 2-base hit with 2 outs in the 4th. Tigers stranded him, though. And the Tigers have had some chances here against Billingsley. Left 2 on in the 3rd, 2 on in the 4th. And now they get a 2-out single here in the 6th. And the 1-2. Lifted back out of play. Billingsley back in 2008 pitched 200 innings and struck out 201 batters. Both career highs for him. We mentioned he followed that up with an all-star season last year, although he tailed off in the second half. His 12 wins led the Dodgers. That misses high. If you look at Billingsley physically, Rod, and I told you if I were to tell you he played high school football, what position do you think he would have played?
Tight end. Tight end.
Quarterback. Yeah, tight end would have been my guess too.
With them big old legs.
Lineman maybe.
He got big legs. I thought maybe tight end. He's got a tight end's body.
And he got him. Strike 3.
Good cut fastball.
Inge just caught looking. Tigers are done in the 6th.
Welcome back to the 6th inning, and that means it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. We're going to take you back a couple of innings with Nick Green at the plate, and the base is loaded. And it's a slider that bounces, that hits him right on his big toe, and he trots down to first base with the first run of the game for the Dodgers. Baseball literally a game of inches. And as you know by now, Coors Light is always brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
3-1. Our score here. Dodgers in the lead. And back to the mound goes Dontrell Willis. And his first pitch is in for a strike. Casey Blake, the batter. Casey a walk in his last at bat. He's 0 for 1 officially. Johnson and then Green to follow. And Willis misses inside.
Willis has made an adjustment. A couple of innings ago, everything that he threw, he was missing up and away from the right-handed batters with his fastball. So he's made an adjustment to kind of get that ball inside. He continues to miss with some of the balls, but at least he's going inside now.
One and two on Blake. Well, Dontrell threw 39 pitches in his first 3 innings. He was on a really good pace, but his last 2 he's thrown 41. And he's given up 1 in the 4th and 2 in the 5th. But his team is still very much in this game. Missed it outside.
Yeah, you at home. I know it's a little tardy, a little late back in the Motor City, but do not turn that channel. Tigers have a really good offense, and they've come from behind in a lot of victories this year.
Driven in the air to left field, hit well. Bosch going back to the track, to the wall to make the catch.
Plus, we need the ratings.
let's tell it like it is.
Let's take a look at Brennan Bosch. He was learning left field. He's a right fielder by trade. He played right field in the minor leagues, but he does a nice job here getting back to the wall and then running into the wall. Bosch also played in this ballpark a couple of games when he was in high school. I told you I played here in an all-star game in Northern California against Southern California, but they've kind of revamped the all-star game. They've kind of changed it now, and the scouts kind of take the game over, and what they do is they invite all of the best players in California, and they compile 4 teams of the players they think is going to get drafted, and they play a couple of games right here in Dodger Stadium, and all the scouts in California get a really good look at all the kids.
I can imagine. And it's got to be tough to cut down that list with all the great players in this state. Driven toward left field. That'll sink, though, right in front of Bosch. A base hit. 1 on, 1 out. Let's take an opportunity now for a game break. John Keating standing by in the studios with some information on Boston and the Phils. Keats.
Mario, thank. It's brought to you by the Chrysler Jeep Superstores. The Red Sox in Philadelphia. The Phils adding to a 2-1 lead. Jason Worth homered off John Lackey. Ryan Howard also homered later in the game. The Phils end up winning this one over Boston by a 5-1 final.
All right, Keats, thank you very much. 3-1 here as we play in the bottom of the 6th inning. Meanwhile, Minnesota pulled out the whooping sticks tonight. They won 15-3. And so Minnesota right now a half game ahead of the Tigers, pending the outcome, of course, of this one. There's a base hit to center. Johnson will go to second and stop there. A solid single for Nick Green. 2 on, 1 out. 6 Dodgers hits now.
I can read Dontrell's lips right there. He said, "My bad. I've got to get the ball down," but he's not going to get a chance to get the ball down. I think that might be done.
Last pitch he'll throw tonight is the skipper's already made the signal. And so Eddie Bonine will be called out of the bullpen. Tigers make a pitching change. It is a wall side windows pitching change. Dontrell Willis departs, and we will be back. So the Tigers go to the bullpen here tonight, and it has been a bullpen that has been as good as any in the American League.
No doubt. And I kind of like the fact that they're not first anymore in innings pitched in the American League, because that is not a remedy for long-term success during the course of the regular season. You've got to allow your starters to pitch deep and your bullpen to do what it does. And the Tigers bullpen at the back end is one of the best, if not the best, in the major leagues. Bonine, of course, has contributed to some of those positive numbers with his numbers.
So Eddie Bonine featuring one of the Mohawks at the Tiger bullpen.
Looked like he had a little dippity-do on his.
You know, you got to have it keep its shape under the hat over there. Maybe it'll help with that. And on the road, even better. Hope's hitting just a .52 against him. Going to need some of that magic here. 2 on with 1 out. A.J. Ellis, and it's already 3-1 Dodgers, so Bonine trying to limit the damage here. And there's a strike call. Ellis 0 for 2, bounced out, lined out. A couple of years ago, he was voted by Baseball America as the best defensive catcher in the Dodgers organization. Little pop up back a second. Worth getting back there. Won't get it. Base hit. This will get a run in. Johnson comes in to score. And now the Dodgers have a 4-1 lead. Ellis has his 5th RBI.
Looked like a nice job of hitting here by Ellis. Look at him pull his hands inside. We talked about Matt Kemp earlier, really pulling his hands inside to make sure he got the barrel over the heart of the plate. And when you're able to do that, even if you don't hit it very hard, and Ellis did not hit that ball all that hard, you can still get yourself a base hit and drive in a run.
7 Dodgers hits. It's now 4-1 LA. They have added one more here in the 6th, and now Chad Billingsley is up there. That run is charged to Willis. Billingsley showing bunt, and he pops it up, and it's caught by Bonine. Runners will have to hold. 2 gone. Top of the order, Jamie Carroll now. Tigers got a run in the 1st, but it's been all Dodgers since. 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. Carroll is 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored as well.
Jamie's younger brother, Wes, is the head baseball coach at the University of Evansville. Do you know who probably is the most popular player to ever come out of Evansville, Indiana?
Mattingly?
Donnie Baseball.
Don Mattingly. And of course, he's in the ballpark here tonight.
He was a good player.
He was outstanding.
He was a great player.
At both ends.
He won Gold Gloves. He made All-Star teams. Career .307 batter. He won an MVP. He was outstanding. And he was a good teammate, too. I played with him in Puerto Rico one winter, and we had a lot of fun. Lived right next to each other. He was a good teammate, too.
Got a sweet swing.
Oh, didn't he?
There's a strike call.
That's back in the day when winter ball was like really good. I mean, because Tony Gwynn was in the league that year. Chili Davis was in the league that year. Of course, you had all the Puerto Rican stars playing. Cheo Cruz, Jose Cruz was playing. I mean, just talent-filled league. Remember that guy David Green?
I do.
Who had so much talent.
Yeah,
he was in the league that year. I mean, it was a talent-filled league. It was before the Arizona Fall League. I mean, Arizona Fall League kind of allowed a lot of the prospects to go there and play in the comfy confines of Arizona. But before the Fall League, you had to go Dominican, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, or Mexico. And if you didn't perform, you got sent home.
The 2-2 is on the ground slowly toward third. Inge will glove it off to his left. That'll do it. Carroll is out of there, but they get another run. We've played 6. It'll be Avila, Worth, Bonine coming up. Top 7 here at Dodger Stadium. 4-1 is our score. Dodgers in the lead. And, of course, all of the great Dodgers here are immortalized at the ballpark, including Sandy Koufax, who was named the Dodgers Player of the Decade for the 1960s. Won the Cy Young Award in 63, 65, and 66. Boy, was he good. 4 no-hitters, 1 perfect game. Sandy Koufax. And we have told you on several occasions this year that Phil Koch, the slider that he throws, was the grip that Sandy Koufax taught one of Koch's coaches, and that coach passed that along to Phil Koch, and that kind of turned his career around. Koufax, what a player.
You know what? He retired so young. Just think if he'd have played a few more years, what he'd have been able to do.
He retired at the age of 30.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Numbers would be really unbelievable. Alex Avila leading it off here in the 7th inning.
Well, Tigers are getting into an area where it might be tough to come back against this LA team. Their bullpen is really good. They got some big arms in their bullpen at the back end, especially big Jonathan Broxton. So The game is being shortened here by the starter, Billingsley.
Three balls, no strikes on Avila. Did you get a chance to speak to Mr. Scully before the game?
I sure did. And what a treat that was.
What a treasure he is. There's Mr. Scully.
What a treasure. You said it best.
61st season doing Dodgers baseball. Can you imagine that? 61st season. Incredible. And he's always so welcoming too when you come to the ballpark.
If you ever listen to Vin, you're going to get all the information.
That is true.
You're going to get it all and then some.
Bouncing ball to second base. Nice play there by Green, who throws out Avila. Well, in the next half inning, we're going to pipe into Mr. Scully's broadcast and let you listen in.
We can do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
Telecast number 29, Danny Worth.
Here's Danny Worth. I don't know if we can do it, but we're going to do it. Worth in this one is 0 for 2.
.93. Yeah, Billingsley has touched here today, and he's gone as low as 76. And of course, Comcast always takes care of us with the pitch speeds. He's pitched well today. I mean, he hadn't wowed us with his stuff, but he's only given up 1 run, and Big Miguel Cabrera hadn't done a whole lot. Maglio has a sacrifice fly, but he has limited the Tigers to 4 hits.
Pretty impressive. They got that leadoff double by Jackson to start the game. Eventually scored Austin, but nothing after that. He has pitched out of a little bit of trouble every now and then. Don Kelly has moved to the on-deck circle with the pitcher spot due next.
Well, you have to take advantage of that and having extra players, especially when you don't have a designated hitter. But Jim Leland, he really knows how to maneuver around the National League. He managed in Pittsburgh for a number of years before going to the Florida Marlins, where he won a championship there in 1997, and then went to Colorado. He spent 6 years scouting for the St. Louis Cardinals, still watching National League baseball in Pittsburgh, and then took this Tigers job in '06. So Jim knows all about National League style of baseball.
Chi Kuo warming up for Los Angeles. Yeah, Jim was saying before the game, you know, we've got a couple of guys in our dugout that have managed quite a bit in the National League.
Yeah.
Because I think we've got it covered.
Lloyd McClendon and Gene Lamont.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Chopper hit to third. Blake charging there. Got him. 2 gone.
Hey fans, this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, it's a special primetime edition featuring your very own Tigers taking on these Los Angeles Dodgers in the middle game of this series. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 on your local Fox station. What you gonna do tomorrow, buddy?
Well, I'm going to visit some old friends down here in South Orange County. Who knows? Maybe make a stop at Laguna Beach.
You going down to the OC?
Yeah, going down to the OC tomorrow. Kelly swings and misses.
It ought to be a nice day down there.
I hope so. How about you?
Visit some family.
Good.
I got a lot of family here, man. I'm going to go try to see as many of them as I can.
Just have them all come to you.
But I will be tuned in watching the game now.
Absolutely.
I have one eye on the game.
1-1 on Don Kelly. Chad Billingsley has reached 100 pitches.
Maybe find some groceries at my favorite, one of my favorite spots.
Now, are your old haunts still here?
Oh, yes, they are.
Most
I
of them
got
are.
one that I don't miss every time I come here, Johnny's Pastrami.
Sounds good.
I've got to have it. It's one of the best pastramis in the world.
Ever?
Yeah.
You brought me there last time we came in, didn't you?
We went there once, and we came to LA, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2-2 on Don Kelly.
And you liked it, I believe.
Oh, it was awesome. It's starting to make me hungry, though, so let's move along from that. It was really good. Trying to get the wave going here at Dodger Stadium. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's rolled foul. The Tigers got a run in the first, but they have not been able to get to Billingsley since. The longest outing he has had this year, 7 1/3 innings, and that was his last start through 95 pitches. Getting into the 8th inning in that game. Missed it outside. 3-2. Galarraga tomorrow in that middle game, and then Porcello on Sunday to close out this series. Rick will take game 3. Checked it, strike 3 called. Kelly is out of there. The Tigers go 1-2-3 against Billingsley. We'll go to the stretch. When we come back, we'll hear the dulcet tones of the Hall of Famer, Vince Scully. Our Comerica game summary tonight. Dodgers on top of the Tigers as interleague play resumes, or actually begins, here tonight at Dodger Stadium. Bottom of the 7th inning. Jackson second in the American League with 58 hits, 2 for 3 in the ball game tonight. Dontrell went 5 1/3, giving up 4 earned runs. He struck out 2, walked 3. And Reed Johnson 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight for Los Angeles. So Austin Jackson getting back into the groove with 2 more hits tonight.
Hey fans, voting is now open for the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. Help send your favorite Tigers to this year's Midsummer Classic by voting up to 25 times at Tigers.com. Vote early, vote often, then vote again at Tigers.com.
Well, the Tigers will have a new pitcher as we go to the 7th inning. Bonine is done, and Brad Thomas will take over for Detroit.
Nice find was Thomas. Pitching stateside for the first time in the last 4 or 5 years. He's been in 9 games, 1-0 record, and has gotten a couple of spot starts this year as well.
So Jim Leland's squad going to have to come back tonight. They have been handcuffed by Chad Billingsley. And here in the bottom of the 7th, Ronnie Belliard leads it off against Brad Thomas. It'll be Belliard, Manny Ramirez, Matt Kemp. Belliard of the game is 1 for 3, doubled, scored a run in the 5th inning. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Whistled foul back into the seats, and the count is 0-2. Belliard has been well traveled. Washington, St. Louis, Cleveland, Milwaukee. A career .290 hitter. And the 0-2 pitch. Bouncing ball left side on the backhand, Santiago. And Belliard is out, 1 gone. Well, as we promised, why don't we listen in now and hear the play-by-play of the Hall of Fame announcer here at the Los Angeles Dodgers, Mr. Vince Scully.
Ramirez grounded hard to Danny Worth, grounded hard to Brandon Inge, and then almost took Inge apart with a savage ground ball that kicked away off into left field for a base hit and a run batted in. It's interesting that Brad Thomas should come in and stand on the mound at Dodger Stadium. Left-hander ready and deals a strike. Brad says that he watched Kirk Gibson's home run on TV in his native Australia back in 1988, and he said it was the first time he had ever seen a Major League Baseball game. The strike 1 pitch, man, he takes at the shoe tops, and a 1-1 pitch. Brad's a big boy, 6'4", 230. Signed by the Dodgers in 1995, never made it here. Surfaced with the Twins for a couple of years, and now here he is with Detroit. The 1-1 pitch, man, he pokes it on the ground to the right side. Danny Worth is right there, and just like that, Thomas comes in and gets 2 ground balls.
Well, there you have it. We don't have a chance to listen to the Hall of Famer and many feel the greatest baseball announcer. Of course, in Detroit, we have our own thoughts on that with the great Ernie Harwell. But I'll tell you what, it's always a joy to listen to Vin Scully.
They have an award named after Vin Scully, and this was the inaugural year for that award. And Ernie Harwell was the recipient of that award, and it was accepted by our very own Al Kaline.
And of course, those two were intertwined as Scully replaced Ernie Harwell.
Both are in the broadcast wing of the Hall of Fame.
There's a strike called on Matt Kemp.
Vin Scully, after Ernie passed away last week, said, I was able to sit in his seat, but I didn't replace him.
Very well put. Two of the giants in the business. And down on strikes goes Kemp. You're watching Tigers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. 4-1 ball game as we go to the top of the 8th inning here at Dodger Stadium. Tigers have some work to do, and we have some changes for Los Angeles as we head to the 8th inning. James Loney now is the new first baseman. He'll take over down there. And he will bat in the number 9 slot as the Dodgers use the double switch here. And they've got Ronald Belisario coming into the ball game to pitch.
Numbers elevated so far for Belisario. He's pitched in 13 games, does not have a record. He has 6 holes, looking for number 7 to get the ball to their closer, Jonathan Broxton.
So Belisario takes over for the starter, Billingsley. And Austin Jackson will lead it off. Got to get going right now. Tigers are running out of outs here as they're down 4-1. Jackson 2 out of 3, double and a single in this game.
And Belisario was outstanding last year as a rookie in the major leagues for the Dodgers. He had a 203 earned run average and second lowest earned run average for rookie relievers.
Pretty good. 69 appearances last year out of their pen. And he had spent a ton of years in the minor leagues, about 6.5 years before he got his chance. And really took advantage of it. The 1-1. Belisario is a native of Maracay, Venezuela.
Took him a long time before he got to spring training this year. Spring training was almost over before Belisario got there. Oh, visa problems.
Those tend to crop up every now and then.
Yeah, they get a few of them every year.
The dreaded visa trouble. 2-2 on Jackson. Well, Austin doubled and scored in the first. He singled in the third and now has 5 hits on this road trip. So he's perking up again. He's looking like the guy we saw in the month of April, spraying the ball around.
And Jim gave him a day off in that homestand. I believe he gave him the day off the day that Lackey started. But anyway, it was a well-deserved day off. He did come in the ball game late as a defensive replacement. Even though he's got those young legs, it's nice to get refreshed every now and then.
1 out here in the 8th inning. Here comes Santiago.
Well, really, we talked about this Dodgers team at the top of the show, and we also pointed out the main reason why they are just 1 game out of first place now. It's been their pitching staff. Their pitching staff the last 10 games has been outstanding.
Well, they have on their staff some talented performers. Clayton Kershaw is very well respected. Kuroda is 5-1. There's a roller hit slowly toward first base. Loney shovels for the out. 2 gone.
Here's that graphic. Their last 11 games, 10-1. Starters getting the majority of those wins. And the offense is perked up over 5 runs a game. Look at the earned run average, 2.55. If you're only giving up 2.5 runs a game, you're going to win quite a few games, especially when their quality starts and the opponent's batting average is just 208. And they've done pretty much that here today against Detroit. A really good offensive team.
Well, for as good as that pitching staff has been and as good as they have played, winning 10 of 11, They still trail the Padres by a game, or did coming in tonight at least. Maglio takes the ball inside. Ordonez 0 for 2, knocked in a run. The only Tigers run back in the first with a sacrifice fly. He has 27 RBIs. Way outside.
And Maglio, one of 3 members on the Tigers team that likes to hold his bottom hand on the bat. And with the pinky basically underneath. And the reason why he says he holds the bat in the fashion that he holds it is it gives him a lot of bat speed. Cabrera does it. Johnny Damon does it. And really all 3 guys said they do it for the same purpose. It allows them to pull the bat through the strike zone with the bat knob first, and it also allows them to get the barrel of the bat over the plate, which allows all of those guys hit the ball the opposite way.
And Maglio gets the walk, 2 out base on balls. So now you bring up the big fella, Cabrera.
Cabrera does the same thing.
Hong-Chi Kuo is now warming up again in the Dodgers bullpen. Cabrera tonight is 0 for 3. Tigers have really benefited from some outstanding performances from Ordonez and Cabrera tonight, though. They've been limited to a sac fly and a walk between them.
Cabrera has been one of the best hitters in the American League on the road. Highest batting average. He's driven in more runs. But today, they've kept him in check. Cabrera is tops among all American League players with a .405 batting average coming into action today on the road with 30 RBIs.
And Andre Ethier and Cabrera each have 38 RBIs. Bouncer knocked down by Belisario. He's going to have some time, and he throws him out. Well, he stayed with that thing nicely. Tigers get a walk. Strand a man. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blake, Johnson, Green coming up. 4-1 ball game as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Dodger Stadium, and the Tigers, of course, starting interleague play tonight. And here's what their slate will look like. The Tigers just face a couple of teams that are above 500, so I think they're hoping, Rod, that again this year they will perform well in interleague play.
They've got a pretty good record in interleague play since 2006, one of the best in all of baseball, as a matter of fact. And you might want to circle that Nationals series. We might see
Strasburg. That'd be fun.
He's in AAA now, and he's making it look awfully easy in AAA. 18, I believe, in the 3rd innings of scoreless baseball for Strasburg, and 3 starts, I believe, in AAA. So he's getting close to the major leagues. Of course, he was the first player overall drafted last year.
I say Strasburg-Verlander would be a nice little matchup if it could work out that way.
Tigers saw him in spring training this year, and Strasburg pitched well in that game, but he went up against Porcello, and Porcello was better. Did he get hit too?
He must have, unless he's putting on a show.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna finish the thought. Jim Leyden said after that game, because all the hype was about Porcello, and Jim gonna come out again to question it, and Jim said, you know what, we had a pretty good pitcher on the mound too today, and he's only 20 years old. He won 14 games already in the big leagues last year.
Yeah, the hype was all on Strasburg. There's no question about it.
And Jim said, don't get it twisted. Don't forget about my guy. He's not going away this time as easily as he went away the last time after Nick Green was hit. He doesn't like it.
Uh-oh. It's getting a little heated now.
Yeah, he doesn't like it this time.
Well, let's see.
Oh, that didn't hit him. That got dirt.
Oh, absolutely. What a sell job by Blake.
That ball did not hit him. Oh, you got to be kidding me, Casey Blake.
Ouch. Oh, the pain.
Oh, my goodness. Did he play that up? I saw dirt.
I did too. If it did hit him, it barely grazed him.
He jumping around like it hit him square.
Right, and the thing about it is Gorman never really signaled that he was hit by a pitch. And you go, we are in Hollywood, so yeah, there are some actors in this town. There's a fair ball down the right field line. It's going to bang around the corner. See if it gets a run in. Blake seems to be running okay with all that pain. And they're going to hold him up at third base. It's a double for Reed Johnson.
And once again, Larry Boa, their third base coach, and a really good third base coach who was with Joe Torre in New York in the same capacity. He gets all the way down that third baseline to give him a really good look at the ball coming in from right field. That's just a really nice job of hitting by Reed Johnson. The swing doesn't get any better than that visually. Yeah, but Larry Boa able to get down that line, and it just gives you so much time to make up a decision as to what you want to do.
Blake was coming so hard I thought he was going to run right through that stop sign. But he held up.
He was a good shortstop.
Oh, great player.
He was a good shortstop.
Fiery.
Yes, he was.
Infield coming in now for Detroit. With nobody out here in the 8th inning, a hit batter, allegedly, and a double by Reed Johnson. Green has a single. He was hit by a pitch. That drove in a run back in the 4th. Way outside. And now it's 2-0. Thomas came on in relief of Bonine, who was lifted for a pinch hitter. He relieved the starter Willis. Brad had a 1-2-3 7th, and now some trouble here in the 8th. Swing and a miss, and a huge rip there by Green.
Looked like he was trying to hit it out of the yard. Doesn't have a home run this year, and when you swing this hard, that's why you're hitting 143.
Two and one on Nick Green. Fouled away. Good hard fastball that time in from Thomas, and now the count 2 balls 2 strikes. Green was called up from Albuquerque on May 4th, was hitting just .219 there with a couple of home runs. Played with Boston last year. Grew up in Georgia and was actually drafted originally by the Atlanta Braves.
He played a lot for Boston last year.
Now it's 3-2. Nobody out. Tigers already down 4-1. Ellis waiting on deck. Tigers tonight have been limited to just 4 hits. The Dodgers have 8. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Green is out of there. 1 gone. Second strikeout for Brad Thomas.
Fell behind him, 2 balls, no strikes. Came back with 3 firm fastballs right around the belt buckle, and Green swung and missed all 3.
Still work to be done, though, as Ellis digs in, and only 1 away. Ellis had an RBI single. That was off Bonine back in the 6th inning, which closed the book on Dontrell Willis. One strike on A.J. Ellis. Ausmus was DL'd back in April, and Ellis was called up. Tigers scored the game's first run, but it's been all Dodgers since. They seized control of this game in the middle innings. And they're trying to tack on here in the 8th. Pitch out, nothing going on though.
Two of your better managers in all of baseball here tonight, in Torrey and also Leland. Now, if you're Torrey, if you weren't thinking about a squeeze, maybe you are.
One ball, one strike on Ellis. Line drive caught by Cabrera. Ooh, that thing was headed to the corner. That would have scored 2 with ease. Cabrera flags it down. 2 gone.
Cappy playing in, but I was watching him before the pitch came in. He's getting himself in a nice ready position. You see the feet moving, and that allows him to make this play to the left. When the ball gets into the hitting zone, if you're a middle infielder, you need to be on the balls of your feet and light on your feet, which would allow you to react either to your left or to your right.
So with 2 outs, here's James Loney. His first at bat after coming in as a defensive replacement.
This guy's a pretty good player, man.
Sure is.
He drove in 90 runs last year, but all you hear about is the fact that for a first baseman, he does not hit for a lot of power. He's got 4 home runs this year. But you drive in 90. That's pretty good. They got a nice nucleus here with Kemp, Ethier, Loney.
Yeah, we talked about that at the top. There's a lot of good young talent in this series. We've talked about all the Tiger youngsters that have come up with those 3 players that you named. And of course, Ethier is on the DL right now, but they've got a few guys in their mid-20s that should be doing some good stuff for a while.
They got a couple of postseasons under their belt, too. Last 2 years, they've gone to the postseason. There's Andre. They love him here in Los Angeles. He can do no wrong.
Ethier is out. Furcal is out. The 1-1. Bouncing ball to second base. Should end the inning. Danny Worth has it there. Loney is out on the side, retired. So they threaten, do not score. We go to the 9th. Tigers need to get the bats going.
John Keating with a Call Sam update. A laugher in Minnesota tonight. The Twins scored 7 times on Milwaukee in the first inning. Jason Kubel's 2-run single with the bases loaded, part of the romp. 15-3, the Twins over the Brew Crew. So the Tigers need to rally to stay even with Minnesota in first place in the division. If it happens, when it happens, Mario will describe it for you. Mario.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. It is last call time indeed for the Tigers. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It is 4-1 in favor of the Dodgers as we kick off interleague play here in 2010. And Detroit will need a comeback here in the 9th inning, and they'll have to do it against a tough customer. We have a couple of defensive changes. Xavier Paul now is the new right fielder, and Reed Johnson will move from right field to left field. So Paul enters the game. Jonathan Broxton climbs on top of the hill.
He is their Joel Zamaya and Papa Grande all rolled up in one. 8 saves. He's blown a couple. Earned run average a shade over 1. 24 strikeouts in 16 2/3. Has not surrendered a home run. He's got what we call a big arm. Upper 90s with his fastball. Every now and then triple digits.
And Brennan Bosch will lead things off. Bosch 1 for 3 in this game. Singled in his last at bat. Broxton is listed at 6'4", 300 pounds. Out of Augusta, Georgia. Or 294.
Any way you slice it, he's big.
Big. Bosch batting .353 now with his 1 for 3 tonight. Here's the 2-0. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Bosch, Phil and Vivian, watching their son take another at bat here in the big leagues. Trying to get it started here in the 9th. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Ripped foul back into the seats. Bosch played his college ball at Cal, so at the start of this road trip. He hooked up with some college buddies, his college hitting coach in Northern California, and now it's all family here in Southern California on the next trip in the swing. Two and two on Brennan Bosch. Swing and a miss. It'll get away from the catcher Ellis. Bosch has good speed, but he is nipped at the wire. That thing went all the way to the backstop and just still threw about. He got a fortuitous bounce. So 1 for 4 for Bosch. One gone here in the ninth, and here's Brandon Inge.
Brandon Inge took a ball off of the bat of Manny Ramirez a couple innings back, and he didn't get glove on it, and the ball was hit like a missile. But he showed his toughness. He didn't rub it. He didn't touch it. But you know that thing's going to be black and blue tomorrow.
Inge looks at a ball inside. Broxton last year 36 saves for Los Angeles, appeared in 73 games. Skipper Jim Leyland saw his team get an early run, a run in the first inning, but that has been it so far tonight. Nothing since.
Good pitching will stop good hitting, and they've got a good some good pitchers last 2 weeks. 8th most saves in the National League for Broxton with 58 since the beginning of the 08 season.
Inge taking all the way, down by 3 runs here, and he takes a strike. Couldn't hold up. 2-2.
Looks like Broxton's got a couple of above average pitches. Fastball mid to upper 90s and a slider that's got some nice depth to it. And Broxton ranked first among big league relievers last year, holding the opposition to a 165 batting average. So he tough.
He is indeed, and he has struck out the first 2 Tigers in this inning.
Not like having that guy at the back end of the bullpen that can miss some bats. And Broxton is that guy.
Two up, 2 down, and the Tigers are down to their final out. Alex Avila trying to keep it going here. Avila is 0 for 2 with a walk in this game.
Avila not from the Los Angeles area, but has attended 1 game here at Dodger Stadium as a fan. Told you yesterday, if you weren't with us, he is the godson of Tommy Lasorda, and his middle name is Thomas, named after Thomas Lasorda. He also said when Mickey York interviewed him at the end of that ball game yesterday in Oakland that this would be somewhat of a dream come true for him to get a chance to play on this baseball diamond. What is it about LA and some of these places? Just special.
It is special. I mean, it's different. West Coast baseball. It's weather's always great here. There's a strike call. 1 and 2. Of course, the Dodgers have had tremendous history. Avila trying to keep it going. If he does, Johnny Damon is on deck. He would hit. But here comes the crowd now. 1 and 2 on Alex. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Broxton strikes out the side here in the 9th.
Impressive. Impressive.
So the Dodgers, with an impressive win tonight, they 4-hit the Tigers. 4-1 is our final score in Game 1 of the series. Back with more from Dodger Stadium right after this. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, strength and stability since 1849. Wallside Windows. For a free in-home estimate, call 1-800-521-7800. And by Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Back here in Los Angeles, where tonight the Los Angeles Dodgers win Game 1 of the series. We told you the back end of their bullpen is very, very good, and Broxton in the ninth was really good.
Well, anytime you see Broxton and you know it's going to be a long night, this guy's got power stuff. One of the best closers in the game of baseball. He punches out the side, punched out two left-handers doing it with a disappearing slider to Brennan and also Avila.
Ninth save of the year for Jonathan Broxton as he puts this one in the win column for the Dodgers. Take Game 1 in this series by a score of 4-1. Back with more from Dodger Stadium in a moment. Four to 1 is our score. Dodgers defeating the Detroit Tigers tonight, and they take Game 1 of the series. Back in the fourth inning, our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, courtesy of Brandon Inge, who hit his 13th double of the year.
Well, Brandon is not hitting for a lot of batting average this year, but he's got quite a few doubles. This one probably should have been caught, but Brandon will take it.
And Inge now with 13 two-baggers, trails only Miguel Cabrera for the team lead, who has 14. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast, courtesy of Brandon Inge. Our Tigers McDonald's Player of the Game voting, 45% of the vote went to Austin Jackson. The voting presented by the Deluxe Angus Third Pounder. Double in a run tonight for Austin Jackson. So the Tigers fall in Game 1. We'll have more from Southern California after the Dodgers win it here tonight, 4-1.